Three divers are exploring an underwater cave when the one in front turns his head to look at his teammates and notices that behind the three of them there seems to be a fourth person. He has his hands raised in a strange posture. As they swim closer to take a look, they realize it is actually the decomposing corpse of a diver. This discovery also uncovers a long-buried unsolved mystery, the Mount Gambier Treewell cave diving fatality incident. Treewell Cave is located in Mount Gambier, the second largest city in South Australia. Mount Gambier was built on the site of an extinct volcano and is famous for its unique volcanic landscape and karst features. As a result, the area has many volcanic crater lakes, caves, sinkholes, and similar formations. This story takes place on a pasture just a few kilometers from the coast. From the outside, the pasture looks completely ordinary, with nothing special about it. However, hidden beneath the grassland lies a mysterious underground world. In 1938, the landowner Ashby was grazing horses there as usual when one of the horses suddenly tripped over something in the grass and fell. Ashby hurried over to check and discovered a hole in the ground that he had never noticed before. The opening was about 30 centimeters wide. Looking down revealed pitch-black darkness, and it was partially concealed by the surrounding grass, making it barely noticeable. To prevent anyone from falling in later, the farmer brought many football-sized stones and began throwing them in to fill the hole. But after tossing dozens of stones, he still couldn't see any sign of them hitting bottom. He kept throwing hundreds, then thousands, until he finally gave up. The hole seemed bottomless. The news spread quickly. In the 1960s, a diver became the first to descend into the cave using a ladder. After dropping about 7 meters from the surface, he reached the water level. It was confirmed that this was a limestone sinkhole formed over thousands of years by groundwater dissolving the rock. A few meters below the surface, a huge cavity had formed. When he reached the water, the chamber's diameter was already 17 meters wide. At midday, sunlight would shine straight through the opening, casting a bright beam of light that illuminated the entire chamber, a truly spectacular sight. Because of this, the underwater cave was named Treewell. The diver decided to explore further and discovered that the deeper he went, the wider the space became. On his first dive, he reached about 21 meters underwater without seeing the bottom. For safety, he ended the dive and returned to the surface. After that, more and more diving enthusiasts came to explore, gradually expanding the range of exploration. They discovered it was an extremely vast chamber, with the bottom located about 36 meters underwater. The stones the farmer had thrown in had piled up there, forming a small underwater mountain that later became a landmark for divers. In addition, at both ends of the chamber there were tunnels extending downward into the depths, but no one knew exactly. Some speculated they were part of an underground aquifer system. Others claimed they might lead all the way to the sea. According to the diver who reached the greatest depth at the time, the cave could be divided into 3 stages. The first from the surface to about 40 meters, just past the bottom of the rock pile, where light was still relatively good, and it was the safest area underwater. The second, starting from around 60 meters, and the third, where sunlight could no longer penetrate, making everything extremely dark. In the third stage, because the passages were narrower, the water could easily become stirred up and turbid. To explore beyond 60 meters, guideline ropes had to be properly set. On May 26, 1973, 9 divers from the same club arrived in Mount Gambier, South Australia, with their sights set on this mysterious underwater cave. Among them were the siblings Christine, Glenn, and Stephen, who came from a diving family. Christine, although only 19 years old, already had nearly 15 years of diving experience, and not long before, all 3 siblings had obtained the highest open water diving certification available then. Additionally, John Berkman, Christine's cousin, had 4 years of experience, which was respectable, but still made him a relative novice in this group. Although all the team members had extensive diving experience, it had been gained in open water. Only the team leader, Robert, had dived in this sinkhole 8 times before. According to the plan Robert had prepared, everyone would limit their maximum depth to 60 meters, meaning they would only explore the main chamber and not enter the side tunnels. Although there were no direct witnesses, based on the position of Stephen's body and equipment, it is believed he became separated from the group amid the chaos. While trying to ascend and find a way out, he activated his BCD to inflate and float upward. However, in the dark, turbid, and structurally complex cave, this was an extremely risky move. He likely became wedged against rocks at the ceiling and was unable to free himself, ultimately running out of air not far from the exit. The police dove again to around 5 meters but found no other victims. victims. To prevent future accidents, they sealed the sinkhole. However, with 3 bodies still down there, landowner Ashby could not rest. He secretly contacted an amateur diving club from Melbourne, hoping they could locate the remaining victims. On March 9, 1974, at 1 p.m., club leader Traina led 3 teammates into the sinkhole. At about 59 meters, they saw one body lying face up with another directly below it. They were later confirmed to be Christine and Gordon. As mentioned earlier, at that depth narcosis was inevitable. With impaired judgment, the two had mistaken a recess in the tunnel ceiling for an exit. In reality, it was merely a dome that created a reflective effect. According to the accident investigation report, the two appeared to be tightly embracing each other, as if offering mutual comfort in their final moments. Continuing deeper, Traina found another body about 6 meters further down. She grabbed the breathing hose connected to the vest and tried to pull it up, but failed. Even with double tanks, Traina could only stay underwater for about 15 minutes, and by then she was already feeling significant narcosis. Not daring to linger, she returned to the surface. After nearly a year of rest, training, and recovery, Traina dove back to the same spot and finally managed to recover the body. It was confirmed to be John Berkman, the diver Larry had seen swimming toward the abyss. Clearly, John had been in a severe state of narcosis at the time. Subsequent forensic examination revealed diatoms in the victim's lungs, confirming that all 4 died by drowning. In the very year of the tragedy, 19-year-old Christine had appeared on the cover of an Australian diving magazine, beaming with a brilliant smile and full of confidence. The stark contrast between that image and her ultimate fate serves as the most deafening warning of all. This accident directly led to the founding of the Australian Cave Diving Association. In 1984, the association carried out a detailed survey of the cave. Although the depths of the 2 tunnels were measured, their total length remains unknown to this day.